Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. This is Martina and here am I with my latest journal, and have a look, isn't she cute? She's a handful of joy and it was a lot of fun to make it. And this will not be a flip through, but it will be a making of, because the technique which I have used to make this journal is a little bit different than, let's call it, a straightforward journal making, and I thought you might be interested in learning about this process. So it's not a tutorial in its pure sense, but I have explained the different steps I took, and I have filmed several sequences throughout the process, which I have cut together so that you have an idea about the progress and also about the challenges and difficulties throughout this process. I hope you can enjoy it, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment, subscribe, have fun. Today it's not about a finished journal which I would like to share with you. It's more about the making of a journal where I'm currently working on. So it's not yet finished, it's in the making, and I would like to share with you, let's say, a kind of a special technique which I'm using. As you all know, there is so much inspiration on YouTube, on Instagram, digitally available, and I would not necessarily like to repeat what you already have seen several times, but I think that the thing I'm going to share with you probably is not that known. So I hope you can enjoy, and I hope you also can repeat and try it out yourself. So those of you who have seen some of my other videos might know that I love to try out different things, different styles. I like to experiment a little bit with different materials. And I also like to use doilies. For instance, when making a book cover. For instance, I just not too long ago have made the following journal where I have used a really gorgeous doily on the top and also several doilies on the back side. And I love to do that because they are really old, they have a history, and the material is so wonderful. And this one, it's one of my favorite ones, but it's not about this one today. But doilies will play a big part of what I'm going to share with you. Also, I would like to let you know that as this is the making of a journal which is not yet finished, I will probably make several short films which I will hopefully or probably cut together finally so that you have one film to show you all the different steps, and hopefully it will not take too long. Also, I would like to make a reference to some other books I have made which might be interested for you to watch, namely the ones where I have combined two books together by adding the cover of one book on top of the other book. And this is something what I'm going to share with you today, namely working with doilies and combining two books. How to do that. So let's start. I will now take away the cover so that you can see a little bit more. What you see here, of course, is first of all a doily, and you also see two books. Two old books, because I love to work with old books. So what is my plan is the following. I would like to attach this little book, the cover of this little book, on top of this book. And isn't this gorgeous? Oh, the two of them are so nice and so pretty, and both of them date back to the late 19th century, so 1880, 1895, something like this. And I love to combine them. I love this red and I love this really worn out gold. So how can I do that? How can I attach this one to the other one? Plus, what I also would like to do, I would like to frame it, to cover it with this doily and then attach a closure, of which I don't know yet how it will look like or what kind of closure I'm going to do. Okay, so let's focus today on how to attach the two book covers and how to attach the doily. Okay, let's go for it. First of all, when you have a book which you would like to use and you would only like to use the covers, of course you have to deconstruct it. And in this case I have removed the spine, which was relatively easy because the binding of the old books typically allow for it in a relatively easy way. So then I had this one. You see it's like this, and you see this is the book itself, and the book itself is already very pretty. Have a look. There's nice pictures and poems and all of that. And I also would like to use the backside, but the backside was not really pretty because it was really worn and it didn't have this kind of nice ornament. So what I did, I found in my stash this really pretty Indian fabric, which comes very close in terms of color and the gold ornaments to the original top cover. So I have just covered it. You can see it, how it looks. It's glued on. And whenever I glue fabric on another surface, I make a trial before, because what I don't want is to have the glue get through the fabric. So I tried it, and I had used a very tiny amount of glue on the top. And from the back side, you see how it looks. If I had used more, it doesn't look nice, but you don't see it anyway. So this is the first thing which I'm going to use. This does form the body of the journal. And the journal is not a real big one, but it doesn't need to be a big one, because also a tiny and small one can really contain all the wonderful things and yummy things you would like to have in a journal, just in a miniature style. Okay, so, and now we come to the second book, which is this one, which I wanted to attach here to have a kind of a flip. How to do that? Well, first of all, of course, you have to decompose this in the same way like you did with the bigger one. So this is the book, and I have just cut it out, and this is the cover. So it needs to get on here. How I do it is by attaching part of, in this way, this nice fabric, because it has this really pretty red which nicely matches this red over here. I have glued it on here. I have turned the edges so that it doesn't fray, and this one will be glued here. Oh, and as the fabric so nicely matches, you can even leave a little bit more of space and add something inside of this cover, which I'm going to show you in a second, so that you can really have something which stands up like this. And I was planning to have a bow to close it so that it doesn't flip up. So this is the easy way, the easier way. But how can I attach the doily? So this is the doily which I would like to have wrapped around this one. What I did here is the following. I show you like this. The book will be attached like this, and in order to make it stick, I had to sew on a piece of fabric which is relatively, it's not too fine, it needs to be robust enough to really hold it. And I have sewn this on the doily with the dimensions of the spine which the book should have. So in this way it's 5 centimeters, or it's, I think, 2 inches of spine. And this will be then finally, once it's ready, will be glued on. This will be glued on like this. And then you have the doily attached. So, can you see? Like this. So this would be it. That's how I plan it, and let's see how far we can get. And of course, as the inside of the two books do not really look very nice, I have already thought about how to cover it, and I came across this really nice Temperia paper, which I love because it has this really nice red ornaments, and it also has some other nice colors. Of course, they do not really fit here, but it doesn't matter, because in order to attach the book as such, namely the pages and the signatures, I will have to make another construction, and the other construction is the following. I have cut out a piece of cardstock, which is a little bit less wide than the original spine here, because it needs to be flexible. I have already made the holes. In this way, there are 5 signatures foreseen, so I have 5 holes. And I have attached some fabric, which is durable and robust, and which also nicely matches the colors. And I have not yet decided, maybe I glue on finally the same cardstock over here, or I leave it like this, because I think I like to match patterns as well. Okay, so it would be like this. This is glued here, and this is glued there. And it's like this. And what you can do is, you have sewn in the signatures here, and then you can use it. And my plan is that I will show you, once I have attached the signatures over here, I will show you how to glue it on, so that you can, it's easier for you to envision. Okay, so I hope it was clear. I did my best. I hope it worked. So this is this one, but I wanted to show you what I'm planning to do for the inside of this one. Because this also should, I said it's tiny, it's small, but it's a grown-up journal, and there should be something to play with. And I have thought of doing the following. I have prepared some flip outs, which will be attached like this ones. What you do when you do that, you start with the layer which comes close to the cover here. And in this case, I have considered, or I'm going to use this really pretty Indian fabric, which is like a tapestry, and it has a very nice touch. This will form the base of this inside, and in order to glue it down nicely, I have glued it before on some paper, so that it's really more easier to attach. Then I have added 2 flip outs, one like this and the other one like that. So it will be this way. And finally, when it's really put on the journal, it will look like this. You can open it. Oops, you can open it. Then you have this one. You can flip it up, and here you see a nice chandelier. And inside there's a journaling card. Something will be inside here as well. This is also something which is attached, and this is part of the original smaller book. And maybe I will also attach, and I have not yet decided, I will also attach this little applique from an Indian sari, because it reminds me of the chandelier which you see up here, and I have not yet decided. Maybe I do. So now we are at part 2 of my special journal, and today and now I would like to share with you what I have done in the meantime and what will be the next step in this process. I was not lazy, so what I did is I have started to sew in the signatures of the journal. So there are many different pages of different fabric. I have used fabric paper, I have used wallpaper, I have used books or parts of the old books, I have used laces, all the nice things I typically use, and some more. So this is the signatures, the 5 signatures sewn in. Okay, I have also shown you in part 1 that I had started to prepare the small book which comes on top of the bigger book, and I have now glued it on, and it looks like this. You see it's glued on here. I have attached the trim for the bow, and you can flip it up like this, and of course you can flip it up like that. So Okay, so what comes next? What comes next is to attach the two covers, so the front and the back cover of the journal to the doily. And I'm going to show you how. So this is the doily. You have seen it before, and what I did, and I show you again, is I have sewn in this fabric because this fabric will be the construction for attaching the two outside covers. And it will be glued on like this. So what I did here is I have just attached two paper clips so that you can see it, and I have used cardstock here in order to avoid any marks on this nice fabric. So they will be put on like this so that you have a little bit of room, because you need this room for flipping, for opening it up, and it will be glued on. So this one will be glued on. This one will be glued on as well. As a next step, the signatures, which I have done here, and maybe in between, before I do this step, I will do some further decoration and some further beautification of the inside. But once this is completed, or almost completed, this will be glued on like this, on top of the fabric which holds the covers. So that it looks like this, and then we have this one. And then it's almost ready, but not yet, because, of course, as the inside of the book is not that pretty, we have to attach and to glue on this this paper, here and there as well. And it would look like this. What have I done in the meantime? Well, I have glued on the back and the front cover to the doily, to the fabric which has been attached on the doily. And as I told you, you can see I have done it in a way that I did not go directly to the edge, to the sewing where I had applied the fabric on the doily. I left a little bit of room, a little bit of space, so that it's more flexible, that it can be opened more easy. This is the idea. Let's see how it works. And then what I also did is I have sewn on the closure. So the closure is made by this brocade trim, which is relatively wide. And although it's a newer one, I think it nicely matches the style, the overall style of this little journal. And then I've also attached 3 vintage buttons, which I bought many years ago. So this is metal, this is really heavy, and this has some initials. I think it's an I and it's an S. I don't know what it stands for, obviously. And then those 2 vintage buttons just as decoration. And this will be closed with this one here over there. Maybe I do something else, I'm not yet decided, but that's how it looks so far. You can see this is the little one which I've attached here. And what I'm doing as a next step is I will put on these decorative corners, but it's not only for decoration purposes, it is also because the corners of this old book are a little bit worn. So it's a kind of a protection as well. So it will look like this, and I think it nicely matches the overall style of this book. So this is the final sequence of this little making of this journal. I'm done. I'm almost done. There's a little bit of beautification still to be done, but the basics are completed. And although I had expected I would be able to show you how I glue the different things together, I couldn't, because I had to concentrate so much, and as it's the last step and it's the step about making or breaking, I thought I'd rather do it by myself and then show you the outcome. Yeah, so this is the closure as you have seen it, and I had shown you already in the sequence before. What I did is, because I found out that it does not really stick, I was buying, it was not so easy to find them, some push buttons, which I have attached here. So you can open it like this. Then what I also did is, I have, look at this, this is how it's glued, and you see this wiggle room over there. I have also attached another trim to keep the complete journal together. So when you open it, it's like this. And this is all I wanted to show you right now, because there will be a complete flip through in which you can see all the goodies which are inside and all the things which I have added, because I have also worked a lot with contents of the old books I have used the covers of. Okay, so I hope you had enjoyed this little making of. Let me know if you did, and please ask me questions if you have, and I hope to see you soon, and I hope to see you when I do the final flip through. Thank you very much, and bye bye. Have a nice day, Martina.